What if the timelines of humanity and the cosmos are converging for a profound opportunity? Imagine aligning with a rhythm so universal that it reflects the golden ratio, a harmony found in galaxies, seashells, and even the cycles of our lives. In this episode, we'll explore how a rare planetary alignment and the golden intersection of timelines offer us a chance to recalibrate toward greater balance and collective transformation. Welcome to Harmonizing Timelines, Humanity's Golden Opportunity.
Tune in with the Galactic Spin podcast and expand your view.
All right, in Lakesh, and greetings to everybody out there tuning in to the Galactic Spin podcast. My name is Mikuak Rai, Kin 126, and my partner, Ruben Llinás, Kin 113. How you feeling, Ruben?
In Lakesh, brother Makua, I'm feeling very excited and very happy to be here. Very honored to complete our 10th episode tonight,
Wow.
live, and have for this 10th episode the presence of someone like Mama Audri with such an important message for this time of the year, because we are wrapping up a Gregorian year, so everyone is running the program. But there is harmony in that too. So we are going to explore today a little bit how those timelines of the Gregorian calendar and the Mayan calendar and the 13-month, 28-day synchronometer are converging and aligning once again in a very clear and beautiful way, elegant way. So happy to be here to share the good news.
Absolutely. That's exactly how I feel also. And so let's jump right in. Let's go ahead and get a tune in to where we are in the timing for the golden intersection of timelines. As of today, this evening, as you mentioned, we're going live. So as we're here live, we are 308 days away from this event, we might say. And we call it an event because it's the sort of thing that is not only rare, it will only ever happen once. I don't think you get more rare than that. So as we are tracking this important intersection, we find ourselves today 308 days to that completion. Anything you'd like to add to that, Ruben? Feel free to riff.
Yes, well, time is passing by, and now we are reaching the 300-day goalpost. So in 7 days, as we wrap up this Gregorian year 2024, and we are arrived to the solstice point, we are going to enter that 13th orbit since crossing the December 21st, 2012 event horizon. So that will certainly put a new tone to this alignment that we are experiencing. And as we are going to explore today, there are more surprises in store and more alignments, meaningful alignments within the golden intersection of the Solkin and the golden intersection of the 30 moon 28-day synchronometer. So this is a lineup of events that are all converging for that precise point in the future, October 14, 15, 2025, when we will, like you well said, we will experience an event that is not going to happen ever again. And it's connected to December 21st, 2012, another important milestone, an event horizon for humanity. So it's really worth every week that we meet here, contemplate the majestuosity and the rarity of this alignment as an opportunity to really tune in to what the universe is trying to to tell us in number and in frequency.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's very powerful, that relationship with December 21st, 2012. It's one of those markers that obviously at this point in our rearview mirror seems so far in the past. So much has happened in that time since then. And yet we also recognize the synchronization, the layered meaning of the fact that on October 14th, 2025, we're going to reach 13 tunes completed since that
Mhm.
since that threshold, since that important date of December 21st, 2012. So absolutely, it's an important thing that we're keeping track of this and recognizing things as they appear to be moving into alignment. It would appear,
Yes.
and so
Yeah,
that's, yeah. Go ahead,
it's
please.
very similar, like going on an expedition through the ocean and just finding, as we move closer to certain points, finding more signs and more meaningful alignments that are indicating that we are in the right direction.
Absolutely. So grateful to be here with you, brother, as we make this journey together. And we're going to go ahead and tune in with the Earth's pulse, and looking forward to what we have to bring forth this evening. All right. Thank you for everybody tuning in.
Right.
Right on. So jumping right into this, obviously, in the past 7 days since our last episode, several things have been happening, quite a lot happening, actually, as it usually is.
Yes.
But certainly some significant indicators are happening. And among them, we get indicators from planet Earth every now and again, and in particular, a very large magnitude earthquake off the coast of Northern California.
Yes, fortunately, there was no victims and no important damages, but people felt it, and we see the movies. We can see that it really represented, like it made a mark, and because it's happening at well, first it's a 7.0 earthquake, so it's not to be taken lightly. And the second is that it's close to California, where you are, to the vortex of Mount Shasta. So the Earth has acupuncture points, and certainly Mount Shasta some call it the heart chakra, some call it the crown chakra of the Andes, or that mountain range that ends in the Rocky Mountains in that area. But certainly, when we have events of this magnitude taking place close to vortices like Mount Shasta, then we need to pay attention. If it's now, maybe it's a precursor of something coming, but it's worth notating, and also worth notating the timing in the mechanical clock, 10:44 Pacific Standard Time, which is in a good match for this entire wave spell that is Kin 144.
Exactly. And this happening just a few days into that wave spell, it looks like. So yeah, correlated
Yes,
with
yes,
December 5th.
I think this was Kim 150 or 150. Yeah, it was last Friday, I think,
Mm,
or Thursday,
okay.
Gregorian.
Absolutely.
And today we experienced another X flare that was basically
Wow.
expression of two smaller M flares that happened yesterday. So let's remember that there is a connection between the energy of the sun. Whatever happens in the sun is reflected back on Earth. So usually these seismic events are connected to the area of the Earth where the solar flares or the ejection of solar plasma hits the Earth.
Mm,
So it's good to be paying attention for the next couple of days because this just happened today, so it's going to take a little bit of time for the wave to arrive.
right.
But because we are entering such a sensitive window, as we will see, then these really charge up more the atmosphere.
Mm,
And we are, let's remember that we are solar consciousness. So it's good also when we see these events taking place just to drink extra water, to pay more attention to our emotions because they can be we can be more sensitive and we don't know why, and this could be one of the reasons. Also, when we experience events like this, there are more events of cardiovascular or seizures, brain seizures. So it's important to maintain our pulse and our connection in resonance with the earth and the sun, because we are basically stabilizing these energies and making the best use out of them. And in the next slide, this is not connected really to nature, it's more to human affairs, but we have noticed that during the last week, since we did the last broadcast, there has been like a wave of speculative versions of why many unidentified spacecraft has been hovering on top of military bases in the US and in the UK. Those military bases seem to have nuclear arms or facilities. So engage into the current conflicts on Earth. So we don't know what this is, but certainly this is from mainstream media. So we know that probably we are not going to get the most the closer version to the truth from them. But here is worth noticing because this is hyping up in the media, and especially when mainstream media covers with so much detail situations like this for a prolonged period of time, like the last week we saw several reports. It's also worth to pay attention because there is certainly different agendas. There are different agendas running parallel on Earth right now, and some people speak that because it's a sensitive time and there's so many shifts in geopolitical power on Earth, like those agendas may play out. So we're just going to be keep an eye open, not to distract us with them with these type of events too much, because they are part of a narrative that is being crafted. But it's important just to be aware of them and see the relationship to our own process of awakening as a species, because this we have been basically humanity has been preparing for events like these and news like this to become more and more normal, and this may be part of the normalization of the subject before something bigger comes out in terms of disclosure of the presence of other cultures here on Earth.
I like how you put that. Other cultures.
Yes.
I mean, part of the emphasis we have is peace through culture. So ideally, we're sending a signal that we're here. I mean, I guess peace is relative because obviously, if you were somebody from another star system looking in on the situation on planet Earth, you might not think of us as a peaceful culture necessarily,
Mm.
considering all the conflict on the world stage. Uh, but it's true. I mean, we don't know specifically why these observations of these paranormal or UAPs, as they're referred to, unidentified aerial phenomena, or UFOs, unidentified flying objects, seem to be ramping up, seem to be showing up, and particularly around these military bases and nuclear sites. What it brought up for me in reflecting on that was the fact that it was in 1945 with the first detonation of the Trinity bomb that
Mm-hmm.
soon after that led to what we've come to learn about some intervening perhaps on the behalf of a galactic council or some otherworldly group of leaders or things like that, just to help prevent humanity from annihilating itself, actually, through
Yeah.
reckless abandon of the abuse of atomic energy. So
Yeah.
very interesting that these are showing up at military sites and around nuclear facilities. I think that's an interesting thing to note. And that in the mainstream report, the government and the military knows absolutely nothing. This is what they're basically saying straight out. Like, we don't know anything about what this is. And it's interesting because, we talked about this a little bit before we took to the air. I mean, if it is a higher civilization, they have the technology to come in undetected if they want to.
Mm.
And it seems
Yes.
like a lot of these crafts or these unidentified objects are skirting the the radar of the airports, of the no fly zones or things like that. And they're also characterized as drones, which I find interesting. Uh,
Yes.
so I think that's very interesting. But who's to say? I guess we'll discover more about it in the days ahead. Hopefully, we'll get some different clarity, and it'll be very interesting to watch how this, what form this takes, and to also
Yes.
pay attention to what is it that we're being distracted from by
Mm-hmm.
this, because sometimes these stories come up in the media to serve more as a distraction, which I think is interesting, because there are some important geopolitical things happening, and they don't want people to focus on that so much. So let's have them focus on the skies at this time, or focus on these crafts over New Jersey, or whatever it may be. They even identified a craft in California as one
Mm-hmm.
of these similar 25-foot drones or something like that. So yeah,
Yes.
definitely an interesting thing to pay attention to in the stories as we move closer to this golden intersection. But thank you for bringing those to our attention this time as we keep the pulse with the Earth, and we are grateful to have that. So appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and sink in and tune up. And as we come into this section, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to some of our folks who are showing up in the YouTube chat. I want to give a shout out to Delia Sky, Ken5 representing. Happy to have you in the YouTube live chat, Delia. We know you're busy also preparing for your tones that you provide out there. Make sure to put a link, in fact, where people can connect to more of your tones, because these are tones based on the synchrotron, which is the 441 matrix. And when you practice a synchrotron, one of the beautiful things, one of the outcomes of that is that you receive the tones related to that particular day. And those tones are beautiful, actually. And so what she provides is a wonderful service. And also TPH, glad to see you in the chat as well. So shout out to you. And of course, as always, we want to give a special shout out to Ishel and to Alejandra, who both are wonderful and really hold us down with the production side of things, and just the partnership that they provide in this and in many, many ways. So we give great thanks for that. So as we sink in and tune up, as always, we cite that we're in the 37th year of the new Sirius cycle number 1. And so people understand each new Sirius cycle is a total of 52 years. Okay, so we're in the 37th year of that first new Sirius cycle. It initiated in the year 1987 with the beginning of the 13 moon year that summer, July 26th, summer in the northern hemisphere, I should say, because obviously that's winter in the southern hemisphere. So that is where we find ourselves in New Sirius 137, and we are currently moving through the overtone moon of radiance. It's a very special moon, this moon. So many synchronizations have been jumping out at us, and the importance of this particular time of the frequency and this time of the calendar. So I think it's wonderful that we can continue to identify that. I think we'll get into some of the specificities of this overtone moon here in this conversation. But just suffice it to say that it is one of the important markers of the 13 moon calendar year, indicating the golden ratio, that golden proportion of the 13 moon year. And I'll let you go ahead
Yes,
and jump in and elaborate on this.
yes, and let's also keep in mind and focus that we are measuring two basic cycles every time that we come to prepare the materials for this broadcast. We move the markers. So right now we have been exploring the fifth moon on the cyclical order, which is the human fertility cycle, is the cycle of the moon, 13 months of 28 days each. And we are wrapping up the fifth moon of the year. So because it's a 13 unit scope that we are measuring, every time that we reach the fifth day or the fifth moon or the fifth week, we are basically reaching a golden section of a 13 unit hologram. And in this case, this is the moon cycle. So this fifth moon will close the first golden section of the 13 moon year. And in the synchronic order, which is the measure of fourth dimensional time and the human gestation cycle, 260 days approximately. This we are in the way spell of the seed that started on King 144, is highlighted here in green. And both of, like we can see both of these two frequencies, the lunar solar year, which is 364 days, and the 260-day cycle, are entrained by the number 13, which is important right now because this is the frequency of cosmic time. The 13 is always the last stage of any fractal hologram of time. And these two are the two pulses that we live by, the lunar solar cycle and the human gestation cycle, of the galactic spin. That's why it's the name of the show, the galactic spin, because we want to make emphasis that we are turning into a galactic species. And we a couple of episodes ago we were hearing Jose and Loitin speaking about the fact that both these tools correspond to the counterclockwise revolution, which is basically we are measuring time from right to left, and we in this way we neutralize the clockwise motion of the artificial time frequency, and we are able to keep a balance between artificial and organic or natural time, so that we can basically have one foot in both worlds, one foot on the third dimension and the day-to-day dramas that are happening on Earth, and one foot on the noosphere, which is the mental sphere of the Earth. It's where all these natural programs are basically a living matrix that are pulsing us. So we are basically vessels for this frequency to inform us so that we can move in the most intelligent and resonant way with the planet. And this fifth moon of the year, as we can see on the next slide, it's the entire fifth moon is commanded by the energy of the warrior, the yellow warrior, which is an invitation to empower and question reality, question everything that we say here. Please take it with a grain of salt, because we are learning, and we love just to share our discoveries while we learn. But the warrior is that energy that is really creating new paths, is the pathfinder. And this entire fifth moon, like you were mentioning before, brother, has been opening new pathways of comprehension and understanding of these cycles, especially this last 13-day cycle of the seed that we just started. And I see that we are still navigating the time of the year when Ophiuchus is basically in the background of the sun. The sun has a transit of 19 days through the 13th constellation. This constellation is hidden. So since we are doing emphasis on the number 13, we provided in this graphic like a highlight of those 19 days of alignment with the Ophiuchus constellation, because as part of the process of discovery, we need to reorient our consciousness in space and in time. So we know we need to make conscious that there is a 13th constellation, that the sun actually goes through that 13th constellation, that we are right now going through that transit, and that we are also about to close this golden section of the year, this first golden section, which would be in just 3 days. We'll be on the 12th of December, 12/12. We close the first golden section of the year. And these two golden sections basically are points during the year, the 13-moon cycle, of more harmony, that we can really use our consciousness and our experience of natural time in a way that we see different layers of harmony that are embedded into those frequencies, the 1328 and the 1320 frequencies. And at the end of the broadcast today, we will experience some of that in the next slide. We can see also that the last day of this moon is the fifth moon, is noted as 5.28, and since number is fractal, and the 528 hertz is the frequency to heal our DNA, well, we can see the resonance of patterns with that. Every time that we reach this point of harmony during the year, we are also reaching like a love frequency. And we know that the world is in turmoil at the moment, but the more we can focus our energy and our attention on harmony, the more harmony we can experience. And this is a little bit what Mama Audrey is going to also sharing with us today, because it's us finally who decide how it's going to look life on Earth. So with every action, every thought, we are basically priming the quantum with intention, so that harmony can manifest. And if we speak about the observer effect, every time that we observe harmony in the quantum, or in the fourth dimension in this case, well, we will experience more of that harmony. And the importance of this entire cycle that we are entering also is that the year, it's a the notation is the golden angle. We spoke about that when we were going through the mystic column. King 137 is the analog of the golden angle, that is 137 degrees 0.5. And this last day of this moon, the date, the notation will have then the 137, the 5, and the 28, which is the frequency of the, the, the perfect number of each moon, 4 weeks of 7 days each. And here we can see also like a cover of one of the healing modalities of this, the application of this frequency as a healing sound to replenish our DNA. It's part of the solfeggio frequencies. So the fact that we have a space alignment during that day of the 13th constellation on the 12th of the Gregorian calendar, well, that's also like a resonance that we want to appreciate and that we want to make conscious to really fertilize the field with good thoughts and good intentions and with harmony. So let's jump in to these last waves so that we can just do like a small recap of where we are. We started this 13-day cycle on King 144. We mentioned during our last broadcast that this, especially this cycle, this 13-day cycle, started with a prophetic alignment of the cycles of prophecy, and it's closing tomorrow with the 35 years, the completion of 35 years of the discovery of the law of time. So it's from start to bottom or to end, signaled by these important events within the prophetic timeline that we have been tracking. The fact that last King 144, we completed that fractal of 11,440 days from the electron and prophecy revelation, and that those that's the same fractal of the prophecy of the Fakol that gave us a hint that it was going to be like a supercharged cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And it certainly is, because those two discoveries, the discovery of the law of time and the revelation of the electron and prophecy, are without a doubt two of the landmarks of this entire body of knowledge.
Yes.
And they are the basis of many of the practices and the concepts that we are exploring within this process. Perceiving time as art, making conscious that we live in a hologram that is governed by time. Everything that happens in this third dimension is synchronized from the fourth dimension in time. So we want to really make emphasis on that and give thanks for this consciousness that has been permeating the earth for 35 years, the distinction between natural time and artificial time, because that's the entire basis of our work. And thank you to Dr. Jose Arguelles and Luis Burris for that discovery, and to the Foundation for the Law of Time for keeping the information alive, and all the practices also integrated to our day-to-day activities. This is not an easy task to really sustain a different count of days and with so many practices. So they are doing an excellent work in that. And also important to highlight that this discovery that happened 35 years ago, which basically is about the distinction between artificial time and natural time, the 1320 and the 1260 frequencies. It took place on Human Rights Day. We we really it's like an invitation to meditate on that synchronicity of that discovery of the law of time taking place on Human Rights Day, because as we have been highlighting for the past 10 weeks, well, time has been used as a manipulation. Calendars have been used as a manipulation device of time, and people's time especially. So human rights and the discovery of the law of time are close together, closer than we think, and we should really consider living in natural time as a basic human right.
And also as an exercise of liberation, because as you said, we've been constrained by time with the application of artificial timing systems, as was discovered nearly 35 years ago, right, by Dr. Jose Arguelles and Lloydine Burris. I mean, that is a very powerful overlay for the fact that
Yes.
that occurred on Human Rights Day, and time is a human right. So if
Mm-hmm.
we really look at it that way, it makes a lot of sense. And I also love the fact that this wave spell has encapsulated such important markers in this cosmology, like you pointed out, opening with the Telectanon revelation, which was received uh, well, at this point, as of this wave spell, 11,440 days
Mm-hmm.
previous, that revelation was received. And we know the numbers contain indicators of synchronicity, indicators of right alignment, great arrangement. And we have such arrangement happening even in our live chat right now. As I'm paying attention over there, Ishel has been factoring everybody's kin in the live
Mm-hmm.
chat, and they've deduced it to kin 96, which is the code for this overtone moon
Okay.
from the fractal lens. I mean, you can't, that's what I'm saying. You can't mess it up. As my brother Wanik says, you can't mess any of this up. That's the beautiful part. What we have the opportunity to do is pay attention, to pay attention to it. And that's another beautiful piece about this current wave spell, because the energy of this wave spell is target awareness and flowering, what is emerging or flowering as a result of this. So when we know 144 is a number that focuses our energy,
Yeah.
now, many people listening out there may have experiences with your digital clock, and maybe one of the numbers you see frequently is 144. I know that's been the case for me for 30 years. I've been seeing that number with frequency when I'm observing a digital clock, for example. Some people see 1212, others see 1111. These numbers are guideposts. These numbers are showing you that you're on the right track. So pay attention to these numbers. Just like we're finding Kin 96 out of everybody in our live chat right now. That's the factor everybody makes together. That's a beautiful synchronicity. That's what we would call that, a synchronicity. So we're in a wave spell full of synchronization.
Yes, and the fact that we are completing tomorrow 35 years, that's a major milestone, because since time is fractal,
Yeah.
that means that every 5 years, since each year has 52 weeks, every 5 years we complete 260 weeks or cycles of 7 days. And that means that in 35 years we have 7 cycles of 260 weeks each, and 7 is the number of creation. So we are closing an important hologram tomorrow, and and since it's at the other bookend of this prophetic wave spell, that certainly has a special significance, and is a measure of the harmony, intrinsic harmony, that the cycles and the discoveries have, because they start to synchronize with each other. And every time that we prepare the infographic and the wave spell for the next episode, we notice more synchronicities, and how one event overlaps the next, like it's happening in the coming wave spell of the Earth that we will see on the at the last of the last section of the broadcast. But it's important just to keep familiarizing with this name. Telectonon is a prophecy. Is a prophecy left by a Mayan sage and prophet called Pacalbutan, which is the face that appears here on screen, and it's a living prophecy. So it's unfolding, and it's basically revealing more layers as we move forward in time. And of course, it's important to acknowledge the synchronicity that it started on to be revealed on King 144, and that's basically within the Fibonacci progression. The number 144 is the 12th position on the spiral. This is the 12th point of harmony or resonance, and it's like we can see on the next slide. It's the point where well, this is the alignment that was happening at the beginning of this wave spell that we mentioned on our last broadcast, in which basically we have 3 days of important events reaching meaningful milestones. The 53 Solkins from the discovery of supernova 1987A Quetzalcoatl. Then the next day, on November 27, the completion of 72 years from the discovery of the tomb of Pacalbutan. And then the next day, on November 28th, on the 14th moon of this fifth moon of the year, we have the 44 Solkins of the Telecton of Revelation. So we can see in these type of arrangements and alignments that there is a deeper story unfolding, and that all these threads are converging to give us clues on what may be happening behind the scenes. And instead of focusing our attention in the dramas that are happening on Earth, we can focus our attention in the harmony of those stories that really are making themselves known in time, so that we can have a different interpretation of the events that are unfolding on Earth.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and we can appreciate also that this is the only number 144, the only number in the Fibonacci spiral that is a square. It's 12. The number is 12 by 12, so it's the only number within that entire structure. If we go to the infinite sequence of numbers, the succession, none of them is a square. So King 144 is certainly a point of resonance within the spiral, and it may be the reason why the Maya used it also as a measure stick for the Bactun period of 144,000 days. Today, mechanical time, each day has 1,440 minutes of artificial time. So it's the frequency of I think it's the speed of light in the vacuum. I think is 144,000 kilometers per second. So this number is really connected to what we are discussing today, which is light, and how the golden light is illuminating the coming year, Gregorian year 2025. So we would love to hear from Mama Audri more about what the grandmothers are saying about the coming time. And this is a quote from that we already read from Dr. Jose Arguelles, of what is the law of time. What you just want to honor again this discovery, 35 years of making conscious the unconscious. And it says The discovery of the law of time is the revelation of a scientific truth so fundamental and which has eluded human science for so long that its presentation totally subsumes and overturns the old science in its entirety. Its conclusions are so profound, its consequences for the future of human society are so urgent and radical that it is mandatory that the discovery of the law of time be immediately brought to the attention of all world leaders. And since tomorrow is Human Rights Day, and I don't know which version of Human Rights Day is this, which was the first time that this was observed, but certainly we would love to hear the testimony of Mama Audrey about the time that we are living and how we can stay human and stay vibrant in this time of change and a little bit of uncertainty.
And just to further elucidate, as we have been, obviously the discovery of the law of time was what helped make the distinction between the artificial timing frequency and the natural timing frequency. And that was the discovery itself. 35 years ago is, an interesting number also in that it's 34 plus 1, and 34 being on that Fibonacci spiral. So these numbers show up in such a beautiful array. And as we're making them conscious, that's a beautiful expression, and the timing of that expression to be something that we're actually holding space for now, the day before the overt celebration of Human Rights Day. Turns out the first Human Rights observation, Human Rights Day, was 1950. So it occurred 2 years before the discovery of the tomb, although it occurs 1 year after the excavation of the pyramid of the Temple of Inscriptions began in 1949. So 1950 is the first observance of Human Rights Day. So I think that's quite interesting to note that as well. Puts us at 74 years this year to observe Human Rights Day. Okay. So with tomorrow, we know that that's a special frequency to be able to amplify as we enter the 74th Human Rights Day on tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. And certainly something to continue to pay attention to here. And in one moment, we're going to bring in Mama Audrey, and with the intention that we can get a little bit more clarity on really what the quality, what the feeling frequency of this window, this sacred window of time, what that holds for us, and how we can best navigate that. So thank you for everybody tuning in out there. And indeed, beautiful synchronicities. I see more great chatter in the chat. Chatter in the chat. That's kind of funny. But the folks are chattering in the chat. They're chatting in the chat, and they're riding right along with us in this conversation. So thank you for everybody tuning in, and we'll be right back in one moment. Okay, we are back. And Mama Audrey, are you able to hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay, and we hear you too. Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, maybe move over slightly to your left, if you don't mind. Oh, no, to your right. I'm sorry. To the other direction, so we get you in the center of the
other direction.
There we go. There we go. All right, perfect. Wonderful to have you with us. I mean, so much to say for our listening audience out there. We are honored to have Audri Scott Williams, Kin 16, same kin as Ishel. She is a yellow electric warrior on the scene, and happy to have you here. Now, you and I have known each other for many years at this point, and we've had a lot of adventures. And among them, when I first met you, you were receiving the transmission of the Diary of NOWTIME Prophecies. And this would have been back in Gregorian 1998 or thereabout. Yeah. And so now look at us where we find ourselves now, quarter of a century later, still navigating this edge, this evolutionary edge together as we began at Malcolm X Park there in Washington, D.C. But now you're located in Cottonwood, Alabama. That's a major shift from the metropolis of D.C. or even that of Atlanta, where I've known you've lived as well. So you're in Cottonwood, Alabama. How's everything going on? How's everything going down there?
Everything is good here. It's a perfect place to be for me at this time. The energy here it's like this subtle energy that's just seems to be spewing out positive, powerful, everything that you all have talked about to expect in terms of the impact of all that you've been teaching on the emotional and physical body. I've experienced here, and the advantage of being here is that there's little distraction environmentally, as well as in terms of a lot of noise. I'm really in the country.
In the country, down there in the country. It's beautiful. I've physically been there a few times. I've enjoyed every time I get to come to Alabama. As you mentioned, there's a sublime energy, I would describe it. A very sublime. It's like a mist almost that I find when I arrive in that part of the country, and it's transformative just even being there as such. Now, I know you all had a major weather situation earlier this year at the top of the
Yes.
Gregorian year. So how's everything coming along since then, the recovery and things like that?
Things are coming along well. We are, I would say, about 86% back.
Okay.
We have work yet to do. We lost all of our trees, our old 300-year-old oak
Wow.
trees and so forth. So it's an interesting shift from all of that beautiful greenery of the trees and to have very few trees left. So that's been a heartbreak for me.
Yeah.
But I also have begun to see how the plants are growing and new things are blooming. So it's exciting to watch this whole process from January till now.
Absolutely. I'm going to put this in the chat for people to, at their own leisure, check out the reading that you just provided to us. I want to encourage people to go check out that visual on your YouTube channel. And I don't know, should we play it? Ruben, you tell me, should we play the video? Should we play the video now and then have the conversation? What do you think, Mama Audrey? Would you like to see it and then we
I
talk
think
about it?
that would be an excellent idea.
Okay. Yeah, why don't we do that? Let's go ahead and play the video. I'm going to pull it up here. We're going to go into our little movie theater here. We're all in the theater together. We'll see how this shows on screen. Hopefully it's audible to everybody. Give me 1 second. Bring all these things to where I need to see them on my computer. And then let's go ahead and click that.
Envisioning.
Oh, not there. Just kidding. All right. Let's start it from the beginning. That's always a good place to start.
The spiritual grandmothers of the four directions share their reading for the year 2025. Narrated by Audri Scott Williams. It's golden. Talk about a revelation. This year is considered a golden year. Hold on to the lessons learned in the past. Remember who you are. You are golden. Your past, regardless of your experiences, is your seed forward. It has prepared you for this spin through 2025. Now is the time to bloom, moving from the embryonic stage to a birthing stage. The golden egg is cracking open for those who are feeling deeply for humanity and the earth with all of its life forms. Now is the time to remember and to renew. There are deep mysteries and unknown situations lurking. These often present themselves as financial challenges, health challenges, employment challenges, uncertainty about welfare of the planet, welfare of our country, the world, potential wars, and the war in our minds that are often conflicted with thoughts of scarcity and loss, thoughts of whether we are good enough, strong enough to get through this time as change is coming so fast. Yet, at the same time, there are those who feel all life is in the midst of a great shift, a shift from so much negativity into neighbor helping neighbor, into remembering who you are from some faraway sense of timelessness and urges to touch the earth, to garden, to create, to take time to breathe and to feel, dancing on the earth. It is familiar, and yet it's new, experienced as a divine urge to retrieve from the past what is necessary for us to thrive in this golden period when past, present, and future gardens, mindful of food production, healthy practices, nurturing ways of caring for each other, our communities, and our beloved Mother Earth. The future will be what you put your attention toward. So the question becomes, what are you calling forward by the words you speak and the thoughts you are holding? If you only see the worst, you will get the worst. If you only see the good, you will receive the good. Again, where are you placing your thoughts, your energies, and your faith? If you have decided you do not care about your future, that the future is hopeless, it is a very dangerous place to reside. During this time, what you think, what you feel, and what you utter has wings and will manifest rapidly. The month of December brings you a time of reflection, a call to assess what the past year brought to you. It is a time to take inventory of those things. And the closer you get to December 21st, when the light in the northern hemisphere appears to be at its lowest moment or darkest moment, you must remember, birthing begins in the dark. Time is poetic. It moves in cycles, and the light returns on December 25th. What happened in the dark will be revealed December 25th. So hold on. What must you do in the space of the darkest point? It is the time for deep reflection, fasting, meditation, and visioning for the future that you want to manifest, that you want to see. This is a time when you get to craft what your life is going to be. For the next 12 months, living your best life is the best option, but you must believe that it is possible. The grandmothers call this time golden, a time of great potential, spiritual renewal, and energetic synchronicity. As your connection with spirit grows stronger, a new beginning, the golden era emerges. So rest now and renew. Be aware that during this time between December 21st and December 25th, seeds are being planted, seeds in your consciousness as messages are being sent to you or deposited, if you will, in your heart and mind to be revealed at its perfect time. So be mindful of the seeds you choose to plant. Maintain a sense of awareness that this year is a time of renewal, bringing in possibilities for a better future, a golden future. It will require steadfastness, hard work, creativity, compassion, and joy, and energetic revival, if you will. In a golden period, it is critical that you realize the world will be what you imagine it can be. Imagining sparks your creative mind to see in a new and deeper way. It sparks new ideas to lead us forward. Activation of the imagination is critical. Hear me now. Activation of the imagination is critical You are birthing from the golden egg into a golden era. Your intuition, your dreams and visions are essential to guide your awareness to its next evolutionary leap. Dare to be courageous in birthing something better, something holy, sustainable, life-giving for the longevity and support of life itself and of the planet. If you are the ones we've been waiting for, then know that you are golden. What are you going to do now? What are you willing to give of your true self? In this message from 2025, golden represents divine light, enlightenment, and accessing your highest potential. It represents pure light directly from the sun, from the light, from the Creator. A golden life is precious and wise, courageous, creative, and thrives with a golden frequency linked to the divine in many spiritual traditions, representing a connection to a higher power, the true self. A golden age resurrects and illuminates the eternal nature of all creation. There will be times when you simply have to stop, take a deep breath, drop, and begin again. These times will feel like challenging times, but these are the times of realignment for the greater good. This will require you to listen to that voice inside that speaks truth, that carries power, and is connected with all living beings and Mother Earth. This is a time now to rejoice in the fact that you are here and you are free. You are full of infinite potential that is crying out for expression. Don't be afraid. You are free, and freedom is your key to unlock the doors that appear to be blocking you. In truth, the golden key will unlock the door so that you can see the truth of who you are and not be blinded by who you think you are. The golden key unlocks the consciousness that is required for you to see beyond your fears and anxieties and into your infinite potential. There is a reason for you being present at this golden time, this golden moment. Serve the world. Be yourself and with others. Be kind, good, and loving. And most of all, be clear with yourself and with others. Remember, you are golden. Heal what is begging to be healed in you, in your family, in community, and in nature. You are golden. You are a healer, and your divine essence is golden, rising up, raising up your consciousness, your thoughts, your feelings to affect your actions and reactions for the highest good of all is the pure essence of who you are in this moment. Denying this energy will cause stagnation, physical and psychological challenges. It will raise fear to the point that your personal body and mind is left in a stage of unrest and confusion. Love, like your life depends on it, because it does. You are birthing a golden era. When in need of help, ask and you will receive it. You are golden. Be open to receive the love and allow a perfect flow of resources, health, finances, peace, and joy to pour into your vessel, because love is the only way. Rest in the awareness that we, the spiritual grandmothers, are with you at this time to nurture you, to lift you up, to raise you up to an awareness and understanding of what it means to be golden in a golden era. We are with you. Know that there is a divine essence that is lifting all in this dimension and beyond. We are entering a golden era and are being lifted collectively because that is what's necessary now. To ensure a shift of ages occurs, the golden egg/seed has been planted in you and is being nurtured for this golden moment in time. It will seek the opportunity to express in and through you and all of creation. You are one with the divine source, and your faith will carry you to the light and into your highest expression of what it means to be human in alignment with the all in all. Always remember, the secret place of the Most High is within you. Feel it, see it, hold it. Use your golden key to uplift and transform as a family, a community of humanity, and Mother Earth. Going forward into 2025, what visions are calling to you? What are you holding inside that is seeking to be expressed? How does that connect with your family, your community? What are you holding for the world? Are you ready for a profound awakening? Hold on. Let go of the fear and grab onto your infinite potential to be the light this world needs right now. Hold on. You are headed for ascension in the here and now. Be prepared. Rest, my child. Dream big. Renew your heart and mind and bring the best of you to this new beginning, this golden era. It is time to prepare, for in 2025, the golden egg is seeking you. You must follow your path to the opening of the way. Time is golden. As 2025 progresses, you will see a collective heart opening to move from pain and suffering to transcendence. It is important in 2025 that you be steadfast, that you be faithful and consistent. These are the characteristics of the one who truly loves life. It will require faith, not instant gratification of the unconscious mind. It will require the highest degree of love to give you patience and perseverance. It will require wisdom for discernment as you move through the weeds so that you can access this golden moment and not be fooled by illusion. 2025 is about raising the awareness of supreme consciousness where you find peace. This is where you'll find abundance. This is where you'll find happiness and love, everything that you need. This now time is of the natural order of time and life. You simply have to open your heart to access the truth. You simply have to take the next step and the next step and the next step to sow the seeds of the golden era. Pay attention. Hear me now. Pay attention to the present moment. Observe behaviors in yourself and others. Cultivate an awareness of your perfect alignment with the golden egg. Every day and in every way of your life, reach for the highest expression of yourself. Be open to receive. Illuminate what is seeking you. Be grateful for everything. Within the golden opportunity that is present now, remember you are a special seed carrying within you all that you need to be a partner in the transformation of the collective consciousness of the body of spirit, humanity, Mother Earth, and beyond. In this golden instant, the golden egg has birthed. In the birthing of the golden egg, you will seed the birthing of a new world, a world of love, a world of peace, a world of caring. The golden age in alignment with the galactic calendar is now. Now time.
Indeed. That is so beautiful. All right, are you all with me?
It was,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. I was just going to say, McCord, that as I was listening to the conversation that you both were having, there are lots of intersections and intersectionality, particularly around this golden presence and this alignment that is happening. You know, I'm not as smart as you guys. I don't have the exact words, but the alignment is inevitable. It is happening right now, and that just fills me with so much energy and so much direction for my own choices in this lifetime.
Absolutely. So many wonderful bits of wisdom shared in that reading or message, we'll say, for 2025. I'm so grateful to have the proximity with you, to receive the message from you, to be able to participate in getting the message out to the world, because then I get the pleasure of reviewing the message multiple times. And even just in listening again now, there's a lot of intersectionality with what we've set out to do with raising awareness about this golden intersection of timelines that we've discovered through, timekeeping and looking across multiple timelines and seeing how they harmonize. And so the fact that they are harmonizing along or against a golden ratio is incredible. And the fact that you've been given this message from the grandmothers who hold a clear awareness about the importance and the sanctity of this time that we're navigating, that they're indicating to us ways to prepare for this, because it is, as we set out with this whole episode series, this podcast series, we said it was a ceremony, that this is actually a ceremony. What we're doing, we're holding a year's worth of ceremony to amplify the importance of this moment, because the moment will come and go, but how we prepare for this moment, is most important. That when that moment arrives, we're so present to it, that we're so in it, that we can ground it. I feel ground it as a charge, a frequency on the planet directly. So thank you, Ruben. Do you have any thoughts to share as we enjoy this conversation together?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's an honor to share the screen with Mama Audrey again. This is not the first time that we are blessed with your presence. And I was wondering what may other listeners may be wondering also, how does these messages from the grandmothers are come to manifestation? Like, how is the process usually? You just tune in inside, or you gather, or how is usually, how do you tune up for these coming years? And
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ruben. I've been channeling the grandmother since 1998. And Mikuak, first of all, thank you so much for putting the imagery to support the message. Um, and actually, I think that was the same time that we met, Mikuak. But for me, what happened, Ruben, I was in a ceremony down in off the islands, in the islands of off of South Carolina, in the Gullah Geechee territory. And one of the elders from Africa came. She was 103, and she did ceremonies for 9 days, and I was a part of that experience. And something happened while I was there. I was what they called mounted by the ancestors, and as a result of that, my whole life literally changed, and so I became their, I guess you would say, bringing their messages to the world. And things were happening so fast when I got back home that I was writing on my walls and doing all kinds of geographic images and geometry, mathematical things, all kinds of things. I had no idea what was happening, but I had to trust the process because the calling inside was so deep. So from 1998 till now, we channel every week. We have at least 25 years of recorded documentation of the messages that we've just been saving. And once a year, I do a annual reading from the grandmothers so that they can direct us in terms of how do we make the best out of the year coming forward. And some of those messages go across cultural boundaries, so to speak. There's as though there's this powerful source that embraces all of it, which is why I'm so interested in the work that you, Ruben, and Mikuak are doing, and so many around the planet are now connecting with that. And so I'm just grateful to be a part of, to play the part that I can play in terms of supporting the personal growth and awareness of consciousness and how powerful this time is.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. I agree 100%. And the theme of the golden aura for us was like a beautiful synchronicity to hear that it came up so much in this transmission. So thank you so much for sharing it with us, and thank you, Mikuak, for the great visuals also. Really very inspiring. And since we are our work here is really about bringing harmony to those spaces that there is no harmony, and certainly observing this Gregorian year 2025 from this perspective, and seeing the converging aspects of the golden ratio, the golden section, the golden opportunity, and the remembrance of that we are golden beings. We are
That's right.
We are light vessels, like you mentioned in that beautiful channel. That we are really just becoming conscious of who we really are, and becoming more and more familiar with our divinity. So thank you so much for remembering, reminding us, and remembering who you are and who we are.
Thank you, Ruben.
I wanted to ask a couple of questions, if I might, just relative to the reading and the grandmothers. So the spiritual grandmothers are speaking about how humanity is evolving into a golden era. This golden egg is releasing, as you were mentioning. So can you elaborate a little bit more on what they mean by golden? I know you mentioned we are beings of golden light. That's one interpretation. Is that a primary interpretation of what they're trying to get us to appreciate? How do we go about, recognizing or reflecting on golden in their sense?
Well, golden is, what they're saying. This is like the highest density that's the highest frequency that you could imagine. And we have access to that now. And how we move with that is not out of trying to create and live in and sustain this artificial way of being that is basically killing the earth, killing us. I hate to use those words, but it's basically, it has an end goal that if we don't shift, we're going to cause so much harm to the planet. Now, the earth will be here no matter what, because if it has to shake us off, it'll do that. But the important piece with golden is the consciousness to take, for instance, what you all I've been listening to you for a long time, and taking this essence of this golden energy into our consciousness allows us to activate the information that you're giving. It gives us the power to be able to breathe into that and to live into that and to bring into fruition the experience of a golden planet. And a golden is, I believe that the gold has a lot to do with the light. There's a lot more light coming in now. It's not surprising that we're seeing spacecrafts and so forth. I think sometimes it is a bit, there's, you gotta be very mindful of how you're interpreting the information that you're given. But this is the golden era. And if you go back into some of the old books, you'll find that this is the time that we're in right now, which is where there's supposed to be so much light coming into the planet that it's going to cause a lot of change. And so as we connect ourselves with that golden energy, which is extremely powerful, and we begin to recognize our own power and our own ability to be in this place of love in action, this awareness, you can't help but be in love. The planet is beautiful. I don't know about you all, but here we've been having these incredible lunar evenings with just, magical things happening in the sky. And so as we absorb all of that and tune out of a lot of the false information that's being put out, that clutters our brain. It keeps us from being able to stay in that functionality of the pure essence of who we are. Once we make that disconnect and we're in that space of the golden energy, the golden light, this cracking open of this light is going to support us in becoming more attuned to the evolution of the human experience.
Mm-hmm. So it seems there's a couple of dates on the timeline coming up soon. You were mentioning December 21st, which we know is the winter solstice. That's the longest night in the northern hemisphere, and the light returns on December 25th. Now, that's an interesting allegory. Obviously, in the Christian lens, we might consider the light returning being the birth of the Christ child, right? As an allegory, that correlates with those dates. So there's no coincidence there. Obviously, there must be something about that is reading into this energy. I guess it's a question more than a statement.
Yeah, it's, if you go back in history, you'll find that particularly in indigenous communities, this time that we're in right now, the solstice coming forward, you time your body rhythm to align. So when we go into this on the 21st, that's the darkest time of the year, those 4 days. And in many agrarian societies, that was a time when they all went inside and they sort of just waited for the light to return. And that's kind of where we are right now. This is this opportunity now for us to go inside, to do the inner work, to rest and renew, so that on the 25th, when the light returns, it's coming with messages and information. It's coming with an energy source that fuels the next 13 months of our lunar cycle. And so, we'll go from that, and then in the summer we'll have, and I'm speaking in regards to the northern hemisphere, because in the southern hemisphere, the opposite is happening. And then it's very interesting that at the equator, that's the balancing point on the planet. The balancing of the light. Just think about that. So everything is already in order. It's just that right now there's a time for all things. And this is the season of our evolution, our evolutionary opportunity right here, right now. And so I don't know if I answered your question, because I kind of went all over the place, but that's just a tidbit of what I wanted to say, that, on the 20, when we get to the 21st, go inside, take time, just relax for these next 4 days and celebrate when that light returns, because in an agrarian society, that meant that, okay, now we can begin to prepare the ground. We'll rest through the winter, we'll prepare the ground for the future, and life cycle will continue. It's more to that, but that's a very basic way to describe it.
It speaks to my next question, which is, what is the insight about preparation? And you've kind of touched on that, and that being rest. I think that that word right there is so significant and often overlooked, the importance and the
Yes.
value of rest, because
Yes.
I know in my own experience, that's the time when, or I'll say generally, the understanding is when we're resting, that's when uh, the spiritual world can work with us, where we're
That's
actually
right.
still. So we're not drawn to this activity or that activity in the mundane. We're actually present and available to
That's right.
the repair and the restoration afforded by the spiritual world. So that's a wonderful. What other things do you suggest we can do to prepare for both the December 21st sort of entry point, and then some time to follow?
Well, I think for me, McCoy, what becomes so important is that we rest. Rest is the thing that we rest. We eat well, lightly. This is a good time to fast. If you are into fasting, this is a great time for fasting, for juicing, for really having more of a vegetarian kind of diet, so that you have this lightness of being during this time, and drinking plenty of water, because you don't necessarily realize how much your body is, and fuel your body with natural things. And then, we always work to prepare on the 25th for as the light returns. We like to have family come together to celebrate together, to gift to one another things that we make, things that we create. It might be a song, it might be some jewelry, whatever it is, we give of ourselves at that time. And so that's what I would say. Don't put a whole lot of things on your agenda between the 21st and the 25th. Just rest. In our culture, we got to be busy. If we're not busy, something's wrong. And I'm saying it's the absolute opposite. Flip the script. Do
Flip
nothing.
the script. I like that.
Yeah, do nothing.
Do nothing.
Find out what that means.
Mm,
Breathe it in
wow.
and
Wow.
just be.
Rest, be, and breathe it in. I love that. And eat some light, inspiring foods, and drink plenty of liquids. So the spiritual grandmothers emphasize the importance of remembering our connection to the earth and the cosmos. How do you see the planetary alignment in January 2025? We didn't mention that specifically, but I think I mentioned this to you offline. There is a major planetary alignment, or what's referred to as a planetary parade, occurring on January 25th. And so I'm curious to get your insights on how you see that planetary alignment, uh, and the golden intersection reflecting the sacred connection.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think I'm so energized. I'm the grandma on the team here. But I am so energized because, it's not just a golden era and then it stops. We're on a wheel that's going to keep on spinning. Okay? And so we're going to see things that we think are miracles, but in fact, they're part of our perfect timing. And when we are present, okay, and I really mean that, when we are present, every sensory aspect of our bodies are present and in attunement with that energy, we're going to see we're going to see so many different miracles, what we think are miracles, but what really is about the evolution that's happening. We talk about revolutions and all that. This is an evolution, and we're in the midst of this evolution. So the January, when the next year, when the well, I mean, no, not next year, next year, 2025, when that alignment, what is it, 12 astral bodies, planets, moons, and all coming together in alignment.
It's a whole bunch of them gathering. They're all hanging out in the
That's the
sky together.
affirmation. That's the family coming back. Say, hey,
We're
Mama,
here.
hey, Jose, hey, Ruben, hey. This is what this is. That's why the grandmothers say this is golden, and the egg is
Mm,
already cracked open.
mm,
That means movement is happening. That's forcing us out now. We don't have to hide in the egg.
mm.
Okay, this is a time of revelation. Let's
Yes.
reveal what the truth is. And that's what you and Ruben are doing every week. And Michelle and all those who are part of your team. Every week you are getting us more and more attuned and activated to receive this level of energy.
Mm, mm. Wonderful. I'd like to ask you this. I mean, one of the intentions we've held is Ishel received a vision related to the golden intersection of timelines for October 2025. And that is that we are encouraged to call a synchronized meditation, or maybe we'll say a couple of days worth of synchronized ceremony, whatever that may look like for people wherever they are. Is that the kind of thing that you would be willing to participate in helping us champion and get out there to the world to help bring this awareness to this critical window of opportunity?
Absolutely. I will take my shoes off and dance on the grass and turn somersaults.
There we go.
Somebody will have to get me back up again, but
That's all right.
that's the time. That is the time to
Hmm.
celebrate. This is a renewal
Hmm.
of something that, you know, goes back so far, the beginning of time. And we've been blocked. The Gregorian calendar has just had us locked in this competition and destructive energy, and we're breaking free.
Hmm.
So what do you do when you break free?
You
You get out and
dance.
celebrate. You gotta dance, you gotta jump up and down, you gotta do something.
Hmm.
So make beautiful music, whatever it is, make love, whatever it is that you do that brings your vibration up and acknowledges this moment that we're in. That's the time. I mean, we don't need to be hiding behind a tree or worrying about what's going to happen. There are going to be things that happen that we may not like so much, but
Hmm.
guess what? The energy is on what's coming forward that's leading us into this new era. And that's where we have to stay focused. And that's why media wants to keep us locked in all this stuff, this trauma drama,
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
just trauma drama all over the place. Don't buy into it.
Hmm.
Yes, it doesn't mean that there aren't some things happening that we need to really be concerned about. That's another whole story.
Right.
But at the same time, keep putting the positive in. Take your golden capsule every day.
Yeah,
Whatever that may be, that
that's right.
keeps you aware that this is the real story happening here. You got to be able to have some clarity about when it's distraction and distortion
Hmm.
that is trying to keep us locked in to the old paradigm.
Indeed. So speaking of that trauma drama, obviously that tends to be top of mind for a lot of people right now. The grandmothers speak about unity and healing for all nations and peoples, right? How can this golden moment be an opportunity for humanity to overcome division and return to harmony with the earth and each other?
Well, personally, I believe that we're going to see some amazing things happen over these, and I don't mean in a far out distant. I mean in 2025, because what is happening is decisions that have been made and are being made for self gratification and economic superiority, or however you want to call it, wars and rumors of wars and all of that energy is playing out. That's why we're seeing it happen at the level that we are. It's dismantling, in the video that we put together, Mikuak, where you put the heart and then it just sort of breaks apart.
Hmm.
Well, that's kind of what's happening. If you notice, a lot of the decisions that are being made to try to do something to destroy something is often either backfiring or it's
Hmm.
not working.
Yes.
Okay. And so then there are these stories that get, are built up for us to believe. We just have to disengage. We
Hmm.
have to disengage from that. We have to find, and that's what this beautiful golden era is about. We have something else to align with now. Before, we didn't have that part of the story, so all we
Right.
could do was play out the story. You understand what
Right.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
now that we don't have to play out the story, because a new vision is being given to us, and this vision is ancient
Hmm.
and it's much more powerful than what we've been used to. Does that make sense? And
Totally.
so in that space now, we have other choices,
Mm,
and we can choose the light. We can choose what comes through the light as a source energy for us.
mm.
And so in that space, we will do things we didn't even think we could do before.
Wow.
But this source energy is so powerful. And when it's used in a manner in which it is to be received, to renew and to uplift, we're going to, it's just, we're going to see miracles. I honestly feel that we're going to see miracles, and it's not 20 years out. It's going to be, it could be tomorrow. It could be, January, February. It could be at any time. Now, whether through our media sources, we'll get to hear that story, that may or may not. So we have to trust ourselves. We have to
Mm,
trust our third eye. We got to keep that open. We got to keep our hearts open. We've got to be able, and our guts open, okay?
mm.
So that we know the truth. We're going to have to call on different sensory centers in order to really get the full truth. But this is the time.
Mm.
This is the time.
Wow. And as you mentioned, it's an ancient energy. It's been foretold a long, long time. And it may seem that the past 443 years of the Gregorian calendar, in light of that, is just a blip on the screen in the sense or the breadth of eternity, we might say. So that this is a wonderful space to be aware and to make conscious. And for this, we are so grateful for your presence and your contribution on the planet, helping to ground us in what is the feeling frequency that we would want to embody at this most important time, and the indicator of things that we may want to do in our lives to physically meet the moment. We want to meet the moment in as good a possible way as we can. Now, speak to the idea, though, that if people are not aware of this moment, because many may not be, obviously, a, a small select group of great souls tune into our broadcast, but it's not exactly a large number of people on the planet. What impact is this shift going to have on those who are unaware of it happening?
Well, I think there are two ways to, well, several ways to look at it. One is, you've heard of the 100th monkey, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, there is a neural network that is bigger than our televisions and our social media and so forth. And it has a language, that mycelium, when it goes through, it's sending messages throughout the entire earth, going everywhere. So we have to all we have to do is pay attention. You don't have to know anything. You just have to pay attention, because when you get to a certain point, as that golden energy continues to spew out, it is activating every cell in our body. And so we have a level of consciousness that is beyond, uh, beyond what we might have been taught. And it comes through that feeling essence. And you just know what you know. And I believe that that's going to be a very important piece of how this happens, because it's going to happen at a faster rate than we realize. Okay. And that, I'm assured, the grandmothers, I didn't put that in the session. There's some things I didn't put in because they say it's time out of time. You don't put something in when it's not the time for it to be in. But just rest assured that this energy has a communication system already built in, this natural system that I guess you could say spins through nature, and that is connected. That, we're used to thinking of everything in these separate little containers, but that's the illusion. You see, that's the illusion. Really, this whole galaxy, this whole universe that we haven't even really tapped completely into, is it's like, has its own connective energy. It's like an aspen field, right? The aspen tree. It's like all these planets, everything, but we're all connected at this level of true, a true rooting, if you will. So my answer to your question is, we don't have to worry about who's going to get the message and who's not. There'll be some that won't, just because they're trying to save an old paradigm. Okay, they're trying to save the old calendar. They're trying to, live life the way they want to live it. But for the average person out there, the people who are, look, indigenous communities, I work with the Worldwide Indigenous Science Network all over the world. And what happens is, I've seen it. We did ceremony in Alaska a couple of months ago, and everybody came from different places, from the Kalahari to Peru, all over. And we're in this space, and you would think we were all gathered there to figure out, what are we going to do? How are we going to change the world? Guess what we did? We danced, we sung, we did ceremony over and over and over and over again. We honored each other. We said nice things to each other. And so when we left, we were so built up. So that's the energy that I'm talking about. I say that because I don't want it to sound like it's something, it's like in La La Land. This is happening now.
Yeah.
This is happening now around the world. There's a network that is already communicating in its own way. And I'm sure you all know this. Ruben and McCoy, you know this. Michelle, you know this. So don't worry about, whether we're going to get on.
Stand by. Okay. Ruben, you still there? Okay, hold on.
You will.
Okay, good. Mama Audrey, okay, we froze up a little bit there a moment. Okay. But
Okay,
thank you.
that's it.
Well, thank you.
Thank
No, it was perfect. Absolutely. There's nothing to really worry about. That's the message. Just be present and available. Be aware that you're aware, that
Yeah.
you're present in that moment, and the receptivity to the emergence of this energy is going to be perfect for every person in the way that they encounter it. It's got something for everybody.
Yeah.
Something for everyone. And in fact, everybody showed up at the planet at this time. Your higher self, we might say, is aware that you showed up for the show. You showed up to celebrate this phenomenal moment, this phenomenal changing of the guard, a shift of the ages, in fact. So that's absolutely resonant with us. Thank you so much for, again, helping illumine and elucidate the disposition we want to have at this time as we approach this transformative moment. Yeah, most definitely. Ruben, do you have any other comments or questions for Mama Audrey while we have her?
Yeah, well, just also remind people that it is the time of the year that we align with Galactic Center. So, and that part of Galactic Center is, the Maya used to call it the Dark Rift. So, it is the darkest day, the solstice, is going to be the alignment with that area of the sky, which is the cosmic womb. It's the womb of creation. So, it's also like this, like Mamadou was saying, this time of reflection, that people are looking back to what was accomplished during this year, Gregorian year 2025, but also as an meditation or a contemplation, just to contemplate our own shadows and the dark spots, and show that golden light upon those rough edges and those parts of ourselves that we are not still integrating or embracing, just without being too welcoming to them, but without judgment, really see ourselves in the mirror and point that light, that golden light, to those points of consciousness that we tend to ignore at times, or that we don't see with so much clarity as we see it in the external world, and be compassionate with ourselves. So this is a beautiful invitation that Mama Audrey just said, invited us to reflect on that inner light that we hold and that we can spread and share with the world.
Absolutely. I want to encourage everybody out there to visit Audri's YouTube channel at NowTime Media, where if they'd like to find the video, they can find it there. They can certainly share it out there with others around the world, encourage people to share that content. I put the link to that also in our live chat for those tuning in on the live chat right now. So be sure to get that link for the video. If you were not able to listen to it or want to listen to it again, we certainly encourage that. And I just would like to thank you, Mama Audrey, for your service on the planet, your presence in our lives. We're super grateful to know you and to have this proximity with you. And we want to express our gratitude to the grandmothers, spiritual grandmothers of the Four Directions, for their ongoing guidance and insight. Ashe to our ancestors and all those upon whose shoulders we stand to be here now and to be of service at this most important time. So thank you so very much for being available to us. And please give our love to Mama Karen and to all of our kinfolk down there in Cottonwood, Alabama, holding the energy, you know, keeping the fire.
Thank you all so much for
we
your
give
gift to the world.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate love you. Oops, let me not hit the wrong button here. We appreciate love you very much, and certainly look forward to what's next. And looking forward to what's next in our collective timeline, as I know we have certainly some things to celebrate in the very near future. So we'll keep you posted on our plans for this Golden Intersection event. And, even as we get closer to the 21st here, though, it's just in a couple of weeks, we'll check back in with you and see how things are going. Okay? But we deeply appreciate love you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. In Lakesh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In Lakesh.
Nalakin. And speaking of what is next, we'd like to take a little review, or rather preview, into the very near future. A little preview here of the upcoming rhythmic moon, the rhythmic tone of equality. So feel free, Ruben, take it away.
Yeah, well, we were speaking on the second segment of the broadcast about the fact that we are wrapping up this fifth moon. So we are entering the sixth moon of the year, which has it's coded by the energy of the rhythmic Earth. So it's a 28-day window, which is inviting the energy of the Earth is inviting us to synchronize, to evolve, and do it in an organized and balanced way. So it's a perfect fit to what Mama Audrey just shared. And it's interesting because this is happening in 3 days. We are starting this sixth moon of the year, and in 2 days we are starting the 13-day cycle of the Earth. So we will have that energy of the Earth really pulsing on the entire 28-day cycle, and starting on December 11th, we start the 13-day cycle of the Earth, which is the 13th cycle of the Solkin. That's double 13. And like we were mentioning before, it's not every year that this passage of through this 13th cycle of 13 days of the Solkin synchronized with the solstice and with other points of reference, like the golden section of the 1328 synchronometer and the golden section of the 1320 matrix. So we will speak a little bit more in depth in in 6 days, in the next 7 days, on our next episode. But we found while we were doing today this infographic that basically we have a 4-day window governed by the golden section, and this was just came up to our attention because as we mentioned before, the 12th, December 12th, 28th day of the fifth moon and the first day of the sixth moon, they both hold the bookends of the golden section, the first golden section of the 13th moon year. And then on Kin 160 and 161, 4 Sun and 5 Dragon, we will have the golden section of the 1320 matrix. So when these two golden sections, they don't come together often, but we have been seeing more of these happening with the golden section and the eighth moon of the year that happened last year, that the golden angle, Kin 137, synchronized with that last day of the eighth moon of the year. And this is like another expression of that harmony that the golden ratio is revealing at this time in preparation for the golden intersection of timelines. And those 4 days of resonance and harmony that goes from December 12th to December 15th, they are going to be also highlighted by the fact that on the 18th, the 6th day of this sixth month that is starting in 3 days, we are going to complete 16 Solkins from Galactic sync. We will speak more about that, but 16 is also a fractal of the golden ratio of 1.618, of a fractal of Kin 160, which is the golden ratio. And this is a really important preparation for 2 reasons. As we can see on December 21st, during the solstice, we will basically complete 12 years from closing the 13th Bactun and start that 13th orbit that will close on December 21st, 2025. Let's remember that the golden intersection of timelines will close after we finish 13 periods called tunes of 360 days. So that window between the golden intersection and the closing of 13 years from crossing the closing of the 13 Bactuns of the Mayan long count would be a really special time of harmonization. And we certainly trust that from here to there, more is going to be revealed and more people are going to appreciate the beauty of what is unfolding, and the fact that we are doing or witnessing it in real time as we approach every day, like we have been mentioning for the past 10 weeks. Every day that passes by, we are close to that golden number within the Lilian count. So the Lilian count, for those people who are new, is the uninterrupted count of days since the start of the Gregorian calendar that will reach the golden number on October 15, 2025, when we complete 443 years of the Gregorian calendar. And this golden section that is coming is important because it's a little fractal of the day for how we can see in the next slide that the Solkin matrix basically has 13 columns of 20 days each, the 1320 matrix. And when we complete the first 8 columns, we complete the second golden section of the Solkin, the same way that we can highlight the golden section on the 13th moon year as being the 5th and the 8th moon. The closing of those 2 moons are the golden sections. Here, the closing of the 5th and the 8th column are the golden sections of the Tzolk'in. This is why King 160 is basically the most harmonic point within the matrix, King 160, King 161, and they correspond on the traditional indigenous count to the day 4 Ahau. That point signaled by the golden section is 4 Sun, King 160, the analog or the expression of that frequency in the long count is the day 4 Ahau, and it happened to be, as we can see on the next slide, that the day 4 Ahau marked the beginning and the end of the Mayan long count. So it started on a day 4 Ahau, and it closed on a day 4 Ahau. And as we can see, it was on Katun 4 Ahau, that is highlighted there, that marked the coming of Christ. So that's kind of the year 0 within this timeline that goes from the year 3113 BC to the year 2012 AD. So that golden section in this large fractal of the 260 unit of the Tzolk'in, in which each unit is basically one generation or one Katun of 7,200 of Christ, which is basically we are in that window of time in the micro scheme of things, but this is on the macro scheme. That frequency of 4 Ahau is what is defined as the frequency of Christ. So we can see how the beginning, the end, and the harmonic midpoint or golden intersection of that entire matrix is coded by this frequency, and that is going to be the day on the long count of October 14, 2025. It would be a day 4 Ahau, also on the long count. We will complete 18 Tzolk'ins from crossing that event horizon of December 21st, 2012. So we will explore and expand more on this in the next episode. But we were just wanted to give people the heads up so that we can make really good use of those 4 days that are going to highlight the golden section of the 13th moon year and the golden section of the Tzolk'in, so that we really put extra attention and a little bit of contemplation in the beauty of what is happening, why these dates are arranging themselves in such a way that we can appreciate the continuity and the interaction between the two. It's like hearing a symphony and suddenly hearing how the violins and the trumpets and the cellos and all the orchestra starts to reverberate. So this is those 4 days from December 12th to December 16th is a special time for us just to tune in, to pay attention, to be grateful, and to, like Mama Audrey said, to become vessels for this golden energy to inform us. See, our own DNA is governed by this frequency of the golden ratio. So the more available we are, the more open we are to really experience harmony, the more harmony is going to show up. And this is what we are seeing on screen right now is basically the synthesis of the golden intersection of timelines, which started this count of days with the Lilian count started October 15, 1582, and we will complete those 61,803 days right when the Gregorian calendar turns 443 years old, and closes that hologram. So every part of the discovery is that every 443 years we have a fractal of the golden number in days. This doesn't matter if we are measuring with the Hebrew calendar, with the Chinese calendar, with the Islamic calendar. Always 443 solar orbits of the Earth around the Sun is going to be equal to the golden number. So that's why this is an event that is not going to happen ever, because once we cross that threshold, we just keep moving far from the harmony, but still in the bullseye of the harmony. So we have the more we approach, and the fastest we approach to this date, the more is being revealed, and these confirmations, like the ones we just covered, are part of that beauty of the emergence of these intersections that are just piling up in different as different facets of the beauty that is transpiring.
Absolutely. We are in it. Golden opportunity, the golden window, so to speak. In that, we want to certainly encourage people listening and tuning in to scan the QR you see on the screen to support the online petition, the ongoing petition for Calendar Referendum Initiative 2028 and Declaration of Universal World Peace. That would be helpful if you don't mind signing that for us. We appreciate the support, as it just helps to further bring greater awareness to the importance of calendars on consciousness and the benefit of shifting your own reference to a 13-month, 28-day calendar, which, again, I think amplifies the golden opportunity that we're identifying right now. And it's an amazing thing to hold this energy together, to have people showing up in the live chat as they are. I want to give a shout out to everybody who's been in the session today, who's had a chance to tune in with Mama Audrey. Big shout out to Alejandra and Ishel for keeping the moderation of the chat going and just participating there with others tuning in. We certainly encourage folks also tuning in to scan the screen for the 13 Moon 28-day harmonic synchronometer. If you don't have your PDF download of that yet, please consider going to theharmonicfactor.com and downloading your copy of the current year calendar for the Blue Rhythmic Storm year, NS 137. As we are nearing the middle of this year, as we just mentioned, we'll soon be in the rhythmic moon. And at the end of the rhythmic moon, we enter the center, the 7th moon for the year. So the next few moons are going to be, I think, full of other synchronicities for us to observe and bring into the conversation. But certainly, I'm so grateful for tonight's episode and grateful to Mama Audrey. Please visit her YouTube channel at NowTime Media, youtube.com/@NowTime Media, where you'll find the reading that we listened to this evening, the reading for 2025. Please share that far and wide with those you love. And thank you for tuning in with us here. And again, tune in with us. We'll be back here again next week. Looks like I just lost Ruben. But nevertheless, maybe he's jumping back on. Okay. One second. That's funny. He's back. He's ready to go. It's pretty late where he is. You're 3 hours. You're already in the next day. Where you are, you're the first watch of tomorrow already. So I understand. But again, thank you to everybody for tuning in with us, and continue to let people know about this broadcast happening weekly every Kali Plasma, or otherwise known as Monday in the Gregorian calendar, the beginning of the 4th watch, otherwise known as 7 p.m. Pacific time. So tune in with us every Kali Plasma at the beginning of the fourth watch for the Galactic Spin podcast. We love and appreciate you all and give great thanks for your presence on the planet at this most auspicious time. But thank you for tuning in with us, and we'll tune in with you next time. We give great thanks. Aho.
Tune in with the Galactic Spin podcast and expand your view. Galactic Spin podcast and expand your view.